Hello everybody, it's Delilah and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be part 2 of my mini motherhood series, I guess. The first video in this series was an expectation versus reality for new and expecting moms. So if you haven't seen that, I highly recommend you do. I'll leave it linked below for you to find. I got really good feedback from that video and lots of people could relate to the things that I had to share. So if you're watching this, you're probably a new or expecting mom. And if so, you should definitely go watch that video. But today I'm going to be talking about my advice for new and expecting moms. And this video is going to be not quite as lighthearted as that one. It's going to be a little bit more serious and it's going to be a little bit more chatty. So grab a cup of coffee, sit back, and let's chat about motherhood. Motherhood was the biggest shock for me, and there are so many things that I've learned along the way that I didn't expect to learn, that I wasn't prepared for, and that I wish I had been prepared for. I feel called to tell you these things and to give you this advice so that you can be more prepared, and hopefully this can help you in some way. So I've got a few points that I'm going to talk about today. The first one is moms are opinionated. I did not realize how opinionated moms can be. Every single mom has a different opinion on every single subject and topic and anything that has to do with their kids. They have an opinion on, and they feel like their opinion is the only way. You may find that chatting with other moms, they're going to try and push their opinions onto you, and each mom that you talk to is going to be pushing a different opinion on you, and you're going to be filled with all these ideas and thoughts and opinions, and you're going to feel a little overwhelmed. I'm just going to warn you that this is definitely going to happen, especially if you are surrounded by a lot of other moms, especially other moms who like to speak their mind. I feel like most people won't face this on quite an extreme level as I did. Being on social media, I get lots of comments all the time from opinionated moms. But I've also gotten it in real life, and I've heard terrible stories from my mom friends about other moms being very opinionated towards them. And that brings me to my next point, which is mom shaming. Be prepared for mom shaming. It is so sad that this is such a huge issue, but it is, and that's reality, and it's just so unfortunate because motherhood is such a vulnerable time. Moms need support and not all this negativity. Again, I experience it on a more extreme level being on social media, which I've learned to cope with and deal with, but I definitely get it in real life too, and I'm sure a lot of you are going to experience it as well. Like I said, everybody has a different opinion, and those people who have those opinions feel like they are right and that everybody else is wrong. There just doesn't seem to be this middle ground where things are okay. There is no such thing as perfect parenting. There is no perfect way to do things. Every baby is different, every mom is different. It's just so surprising the kind of negativity there is out there, and how rude some of these moms can be. But at the end of the day, just remember that their opinions do not matter. If the opinion is coming from somebody you trust and someone who's close to you, you can keep it in the back of your mind and you can ponder it and think about it, but at the end of the day, if it's not what you agree with and you don't feel like it's right with your child, then you don't need to agree with that opinion. You can have your own set of opinions. You don't have to agree with all these other moms who are going to be throwing theirs right at you. I have people getting down on me about sleep training especially, and immunizations. I've gotten so many comments about that and so many opinions, and breastfeeding and what I feed my child and how I raise her and how I teach her things, and I should be doing this or I should be doing that, I shouldn't be doing something. There's always somebody who is going to be telling me that I'm doing something wrong. So I want to encourage you, if you're going through the same thing, don't listen to all of the negativity out there, all the hate. I know it's really hard not to listen to it, but know that what you have decided to do for your child is the best decision you can make. And please don't be one of those moms who mom shame other moms, because mom shaming hurts. It can hurt really bad, and you don't want to be the one to hurt somebody else. The next one is trust your mom gut. This kind of comes off of the last point that I just made about you know what is best for your child. Mom instincts are real. An outsider's opinion is not going to match up against your mom instinct. You know your child best. Nobody else knows your child as good as you do. And you know yourself, and you know what is best for both you and your child. There is no right or wrong way to parent. I mean, I have my opinions as anybody else out there has, but I'm not going to judge other moms for what they decide to do, because I know that what they're doing is the best that they can do, and that's all that matters. For example, I knew that sleep training was going to help Eloise, and I have had so much hate on it. But it was my mom instinct that Eloise needed help in that department. I never planned on doing it, but it ended up being exactly what she needed, because within a couple of days, she was suddenly so much happier, she was sleeping so much better, and life just got so much better in general. So at the end of the day, whatever you decide to do is ultimately the best decision that you can make. The next point is it's okay to be emotional, especially in those first few months. Oh man, those postpartum hormones are crazy. I was a hot mess for a very long time, and that's okay. It's a huge change to adapt to. It's the biggest life change you're ever going to experience in your life. You are learning how to raise a human. You're learning what they like, what they dislike. You're going through crazy postpartum hormones. You're recovering from birth. It is okay to be emotional. You have a right to cry. And I know it probably feels silly most of the time, or at least it did for me. I felt so silly for crying half of the time because I didn't really have a reason to cry. I thought it would all be great and wonderful once my baby came along, and that we would just be on this high and that everything would be good, and that was not the case. It was a very emotional time. I think it's really important to take a little bit of time for yourself just to cry and to accept your emotions. And whether you get those emotions out by writing them down in a journal or just crying it out or talking to someone, it's a really good idea to do that and to get it out and to vent your emotions in some way so that you can feel better and come back to your child and be the best mom that you can be. My next point is ask for help. For some reason, I found this so hard. I guess it's just in my personality. I don't like to ask for help, or at least not from other people. If it's from my husband, I will ask for help all the time. But if it's from somebody else, I just feel like I'm interrupting their day, like I'm a burden to them. And usually when I'm in need of help, I am a hot mess. I'm either in a lot of pain, or I'm crying my eyes out, or I'm really angry, and I don't want other people to see me in that situation. But asking someone to come and watch your child for an hour while you take a little time for yourself is so important. And you would be surprised how many people are more than willing to come over and take your child for a little while. I have had so many people offer to do this for me. Not only my family, but friends from church, even people that I never talked to before have offered to help out, especially other moms, because they know exactly what it's like and they know what you're going through, and they are so willing to help out. So if you can find a community who is willing to help you if your family isn't there for you, I think that's such a great thing, because it will help you so much. It'll help you to feel better about yourself, about the situation. Ultimately, it will help you to be a better mom. That kind of leads me into my next point, which is make mommy friends. Oh, this is such a big one, especially if you are going to be a stay-at-home mom, or if you're going to be at home with your child for a long period of time. The loneliness will get to you. I didn't realize how isolating it can be being a stay-at-home mom. And as an introvert, I don't make friends easily. Also, being a young mom, I just don't have a lot of friends who are moms as well. This has been a challenge for me because I am not the kind of person to go make friends. I'm not the kind of person to start a conversation. I don't even like to get out of the house to see people. So I kind of end up in this little bubble, and I'm just kind of stuck there, and I feel lonely and sad and separated from the world, but in reality it's my own doing. I need to get out there and I need to make friends. Since becoming a mom, I have been able to make a couple of mom friends, and it's been lovely to be able to share my experience with them, to vent with them, to talk to somebody who totally understands what you're going through. And it's also great for your child to be able to play with another child, because seeing that bond between those two kids is the coolest thing. My next tip is babies like to change things up. And it's very frustrating. My mom always says that babies like to make liars out of us, because as soon as we say that they are doing something, they stop or they do something different. And this is something that I just didn't realize, or I wasn't prepared for. Pretty much as soon as I have a routine down with Eloise, she changes it up, and I have to figure out something new. Basically, every single day is going to be a new adventure, and learning to accept that will help you a lot. Which takes me to my next point, which is accept it and move on. This is something that took me a very long time to figure out and a very long time to learn. I think it was only around the 10 or 11 month mark with Eloise that I finally understood this. Like I said, babies like to change things up. They can be so different from one day to the next. I am a controlling person. I don't like it that I can't control Eloise and her behavior and her actions and what she does. I found that really hard. But you can't control a baby. That's just not gonna happen. So the sooner that you can accept that and move on, the better off you're gonna be. Just take things as they come. Like lately, Eloise has been throwing a lot of tantrums and she hasn't been sleeping well. So I'm just trying to take each day as it comes. I'm trying to just solve each problem as it comes and just go with the flow, because there is no point in trying to control her or make her do something, because that's just going to make everything worse. Yeah, I found that it's best just to not worry so much and to just go with the flow. And that is so hard, especially for someone like me, and I'm sure a lot of you moms out there struggle with it too, but it will help you so much to just accept it and go with it. Just go with it. I guess this next point is pretty much the same as the last one, but it is to let go and move on. Yeah, ever since I started to just let go and let Eloise be Eloise, I have had so many less freakouts. I've had better days. I've been able to relax more. I've been able to just enjoy Eloise the way she is. And I think that's such a big part of being a mom, is accepting your child for who they are and raising them according to who they are. And by letting go and just not worrying so much, your life is going to be so much easier. You're going to feel so much more free. I feel like a weight was just lifted off of my shoulders when I finally did this. And it is just, it's so much more rewarding to not be so controlling and to not worry so much about every little thing that your child does, and to just let it go. For example, Eloise's sleep schedule for a very long time has been completely out of whack. And I have found that just by not worrying so much and just letting her do her thing, I've felt so much better. I mean, there's gonna be good days and bad days, but at the end of the day, I can't control it. As another example, Eloise and her bum scooting, her mobility. Her mobility isn't all there, but she is very smart in other ways. She talks a lot, she's very good at eating, she's very smart, I can tell, but she's not very good at moving around. And it took her a long time to even roll over. And I was worried about this. I was really worried about this. I thought that there might be something wrong with her. Everybody else's baby was like crawling by the time she finally learned to roll over. And she's still not crawling. She bum scoots now. And for the longest time I worried so much about it. I worried that she was so small, she wasn't getting enough food, but she is. She eats a lot, and it's not like she's gonna starve herself. But I just worried so much. But by letting that worry go and just trusting God and saying, okay, you got this, everything's gonna be okay. Yeah, it's so freeing. It is so freeing to just not worry. My last point is don't compare yourself to others, and this is a lot easier said than done. Like I said, Eloise was rolling over at the time that most babies would be crawling, and I compared her to other babies, and it made me feel really down and worried, and I felt like something was wrong with her, and it's not a good place to be in. And at the beginning, actually, for like the first 7-8 months of her life, she was the crankiest baby I'd ever seen. And I would compare her to other babies, and I'd wonder why she was so grumpy and why God gave me a grumpy baby. Why couldn't I have a baby who slept all the time and was well behaved and all of this? But you have to realize that God gave you that child for a reason. He made you the mother of your children for a purpose and for a reason, and realizing that and accepting it is so important. No two babies are alike, and no two moms are alike. And no two babies are going to develop exactly the same way or at the same time. Every baby's going to require different care, different methods of learning. For example, sleep training, Eloise required that. Some babies don't, and that's great. But Eloise needed that little bit of help. Some babies are going to need extra help with nursing. Some babies are going to need a little more attention when it comes to brain development or learning words or shapes or whatever. Everybody has good and bad qualities. Everybody has strong areas and weak areas, and that's just the way that it is. That's the beauty of it. God made us all unique and all different, so comparing your baby to other babies, really it's a foolish thing to do, but we all do it and we're all guilty of it, myself included. But when you let go and just let it be and let your child be who they are and continue to nurture them and raise them according to who they are, it's again a weight lifted off your shoulders and you feel a lot more free and a lot more connected with your child. Alright, that's everything I had to talk about. I just spilled coffee all over myself. This is not just for looks, I'm actually drinking coffee right now. Anyways, that's all I had to share today. I really hope I could have helped you or touched you in some way. I felt God calling me to make this video, so I really wanted to share my advice with you, everything that I've learned along the way. If you are a new or expecting mom, which you probably are, I wish you all the best and I'm praying for you, and I hope that it gets better for you soon because I know that the beginning is not easy. That's everything for this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss any of my new videos. I'm actually coming out with a nighttime routine next week, hopefully, so make sure you have the notification bell turned on so that you don't miss that. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!